Hey, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on NewsTalk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Well, another terror attack over the weekend, and unfortunately, we are seeing so many of these things that people are starting to ask the question, is this the new normal? I had that question actually posted on my Facebook page. I'll get into that here in just a second. The terror attack, in case you're not up to date with all the numbers, of course, numbers could change. This is a video, and, here in about an hour or two after the video is posted, these numbers could change. But a terrorist attack in London, on London Bridge, that then spilled over into Borough Market. The 7 people were killed in this terrorist attack. 48 others were wounded in the terror attack. If you didn't know, on London Bridge, these terrorists had driven a van into a group of people. They had swerved in order to hit, swerving in and out of people in order to hit the most people. Then they took knives and went to Borough Market and tried to stab a lot of folks. It was reported that some of the patrons in the bar were using bottles and chairs to defend themselves. Good job to the Brits overseas for defending yourselves, standing up and not just waiting on the police to arrive, though I will give the police credit. It took about 8 minutes after the initial terror attack for the 3 savages to be gunned down by British police. So good job to the Brits overseas on this. The Prime Minister, British Prime Minister Theresa May, coming out and saying things must change, that we can't just go on as everything is normal. In May's speech, according to Politico, is a little more political, a little more angry than what she normally, than what she has done before. This is the 3rd time as British Prime Minister that she has had to come out and talk about terrorism there in the UK. The British Prime Minister saying that there were shades of Donald Trump, according to Politico here. Reading from Politico, there were shades of Donald Trump's criticism of radical Islam when May explicitly attacked the, quote, evil ideology of Islamist extremism. Good for her. She also said, quote, far too much tolerance of extremism in the UK, that there has been far too much tolerance of extremism in the UK. And she said, we cannot and must not pretend that things can continue as they are. Things need to change. Enough is enough. In her speech Sunday, May threw into the mix Britain's increasingly frayed tolerance for cultural diversity, mirroring trends on the continent and in the United States as she laid out the threat facing the UK in stark terms. May said on top of the Westminster, Manchester, and London Bridge terrorist attacks, police have and security services stopped 5 other credible plots in the last 3 months. She said terrorism breeds terrorism, and perpetrators are inspired to attack not only on the basis of carefully constructed plots after years of planning and training, not even lone attackers radicalize online, but by copying one another and often using the crudest of means of attack. In one passage of her address, May chided the country's supposed uneasiness about confronting extremism. The Prime Minister said the country needed to, quote, far more robust in identifying and stamping out extremist views. This would, quote, require some difficult and often embarrassing conversations, May said, a plea almost incomprehensibly English to the outside observer, designed to strike deep into the heart of the awkward provincial British psyche. This from Politico. So we'll see what happens in the UK. We asked this question, or I asked this question, many others did as well, after what we saw in Manchester with the terrorist attack there. It was aimed at children. It was aimed at little girls. It was aimed at teenage girls. This terror attack in Manchester, what was going to change? What was going to be different? Would anything change? Theresa May says something has to change. Well, what is that something? Is it that we're going to change our Facebook profile pictures? Are we going to do more hashtag activism? Are we going to get more false sense of security by seeing more police officers outside an arena? No, that doesn't seem to be working. What really needs to change is the world needs to get together. The free world needs to get together and admit that we are involved in a world war against Islamic extremism. Islamic extremism must be stopped. It must be stamped out. It must be rooted out any way we can do it. Radical Islam hates you, hates me, hates anyone who doesn't believe in radical Islamists. Okay, we have to stop it. It's at war with us. But we don't want to admit that. Nations don't want to, because they're worried about the political correctness of it. They don't want to offend moderate Muslims. I gotta tell you, and I've said it before in other videos, I'm sick and tired of holding the hands of moderate Muslims. Either you understand it or you don't. If you're a moderate Muslim, if you're a Muslim who has peace in your heart, peace in your mind, you just want a better life for yourself, for your family, you have no intention whatsoever of ever carrying out a terror attack, listen, we've got no problem with you at all. It's those who have harmed the name of Islam. It is the ones who have used the name of Islam to carry out terror attacks. Those are the people we have a problem with, and those are the people that need to be destroyed. They are savages intent on killing us. So I'm a little bit tired. I've been tired of this whole PC movement of, well, we need to make sure that moderate Muslims know that we're not at war with all of Islam. Yeah, we get it. We've been doing that since 2001. It's time to shift gears. We also need a different way, I think, of being more proactive when it comes to intelligence gathering. Does that mean profiling? Does that mean more surveillance in different areas? I don't know. I think it's a discussion worth having. I think it is something that we need to talk about. I also think that we may have to talk about the uneasiness of putting boots on the ground in the Middle East and going after ISIS on the ground, dropping as many bombs as possible. Sure, using drones when possible, yes, but maybe having to put boots on the ground. We are at war, my friends, and the radical Islamists will not stop. This is a growing threat, especially in Europe, where we have seen the terror attacks amp up. But before long, we could, and God forbid it happens, but we could see it here amp up here in the United States. I hope it doesn't, but we could see it amp up here in the United States as, maybe more people decide to use cars to run over people. I hope it doesn't happen, but it could. And signs right now aren't looking too good for the free world. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. On Monday's show, we're going to talk about this. What needs to change? Theresa May says something needs to change. What is that something? Can we have a discussion among world leaders? What needs to change? Because I agree, something has to change in our war against radical Islam. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time, NewsTalk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. If you're not in Lubbock or in West Texas, I invite you to listen online at KFYO.com. Follow me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio. Have a great day.